So after working at 4-wheel drive action where, there was a lot of episodes that we were having to spit out, I really got used to working on the fly and changing plans at the last minute. If the weather changes or if national parks decline your permit or whatever it may be, you kind of just have to think on your feet and go with it and find somewhere else to film because you've still got to meet that deadline. Not long after Low Range had started, we had planned to go down to Tasmania. And that was in the schedule. Everyone had the schedule heading to Tassie. But not long before we had to leave, I got a call from Ruthie saying, look, I've just had a call from a mate in Alice Springs and apparently they've just had a heap of rain out there and everything's going to be green, which doesn't happen very often. He said, look, January is not ideal for going into the centre. It's going to be really uncomfortable, but I think the shots that we could get would be worth it. And I thought that sounded awesome. This is one of those opportunities that are a once in a lifetime thing and you don't want to miss it. We went about planning to head to the centre. Unfortunately, when we got to the airport though, I realised I hadn't told the photographer, Anthony Worry, about the change in location. So unfortunately, he had packed big jackets and clothes for a colder climate. The heat was intense. I mean, we'd get out of the car to get a shot and it was like you couldn't breathe, but we had air conditioning. John had no air conditioning and apparently the temperature in the cabin was hitting 55 degrees on a regular basis. So the conditions were extremely dangerous. Glenn was just miserable. I've never seen Glenn more miserable because he just hates the heat and he could not sleep at night to the point where he sometimes would just go into the car and sleep with the aircon on. One night he even went down to the riverbed and slept, I think it was a creek, slept in the creek bed. I was probably the least bothered by the heat. I didn't mind it. And in fact, my sugar levels were amazing. It was like for those 2 weeks, I didn't have diabetes anymore. And when I spoke to my endocrinologist about it, apparently the heat can have a positive effect on your sugar levels. And look, the shots that we got were just amazing. And it was a fantastic, unforgettable experience. There was a plague of crickets at one point as well. But that's the kind of stuff that makes a trip unforgettable.